Hey everyone, it's me, Tia Torres, on another Rescue 101 episode under my Tia Talk podcast platform that I actually hear on Spotify. And I also put this on other platforms as well. This is Rescue Parts 7 or 8, I think, depending on where you watch and listen to this. And today we are going to talk about adoption guidelines. Oh, let's address the elephant in the room, shall we? Since it seems to be an ongoing topic. I'm using a filter for my eyes. Oh my God. Yes. I wanted to have eyelashes and eyeliner today because some of us don't wake up looking like a supermodel. So calm down, everybody. I'm over here, like taking time out of my day to do these videos for free. So I get to look however I choose. Okay. Got that disclaimer out of the way. All right. So this may be a kind of a two-parter. I'm not sure yet. Depends on how much I can get out on this. But I'm going to talk a little bit about our guidelines. And, I'm not saying that anybody has to necessarily follow them, but this is what we do. And this is what I feel as a responsible rescue person, what you should do as well. Kind of itch. First things first. No dog should be adopted out without being spayed or neutered. I'm sorry. That's counterproductive if you don't do that. So there. And anybody that does, that to me is like the holy grail. Do not adopt out a dog without it being spayed or neutered, and expect that the adopter will do the right thing. Okay, there you go. Got that off my chest as well. For us, we do full medical. Not just vaccinations and worming, but we do the whole gambit. Now, for those of us that live in the South, we have to deal with heartworm, right? Okay, this is where I fluctuate back and forth as far as what you want to do. We put the dogs through heartworm treatment prior to adopting out. And that's like a 3 to 4 month, situation. That means the dog is with us for 3 to 4 months when we get it in to go through treatment. The reason we keep the dog with us is because there have been known to be complications sometimes where it may be a vet in like another state that is not used to dealing with heartworm disease, isn't experienced in what to do. So we choose to keep the dog with us. Now, do I fault another rescue or shelter for sending the dogs out heartworm positive? I get it. It's expensive treatment and the dogs pile up. And that's why we get so many, because the dogs pile up until they get through treatment. I think it depends on some circumstances. I think it depends on maybe where you're sending the dog to. Maybe if it is going to a state where the vets are experienced in heartworm treatment. If you're being upfront with the adopter and they know that they're about to take on a pretty big expense, and there are two ways to treat heartworm, which I'm not going to get into right in this episode. One is what they call the faster kill, which is with the injections, which is expensive. One is slow kill, that's what they call it, which takes a while and not as expensive. So I get it. If you're upfront with the adopter and they know what they're in for, then I guess I can't blame you, because who wants to keep a bunch of dogs for 3 to 4 months in your shelter while more are coming in? So there's that. Just got a notification on somebody bugging me on a weekend. Okay, so that's the medical part of it. You already heard about my temperament testing stuff. Like, I don't believe in adopting out dogs that have a potential for aggressive or a behavior or biting or with a bite history. It's. I mean, I shouldn't say that. It depends on the bite. Okay, have we had dogs that maybe reacted to something where, for example, if a dog is sleeping and a kid, a baby or a toddler, does a belly flop on the dog and wakes it up and startles it, and the dog snaps at the kid and bites it. Okay, if it can be explained away like that, I get it. But a dog that has bitten several people or has bitten somebody severely, you know what? You're looking to get sued. I'm telling you right now, because you're. I mean, yeah, your contract says that you're not assuming liability for that dog after it leaves your care. But come on, if you knowingly adopted that dog out like that, shame on you. KP, why do you want to play with your nylon ball when I'm recording every single time? Um, I could stay on here for hours and talk about the responsibilities of adopting out a dog with serious behavioral issues that are potentially dangerous. That's a whole nother can of worms that we can open up, which maybe I'll save that for a different episode. So let's just talk about God, I got like itches everywhere. Basic, like the dog is great, bomb proof, been doing great. Okay. So you have an adoption contract. Um, you can ask any rescue or shelter to get you a copy of theirs, and you can adjust it to what you need. That's what we did back in the day. It does protect you somewhat. It does. As far as like if something happens, you want to get your dog back. Um, we have had that situation come up, which is a whole nother episode because we had to, they did not want to adhere to our contract. So we had to go all gangster on them. Again, story for another time. Okay. Now, here's where I'm going to ruffle some feathers. Home checks. Okay. I get it. Some people can't do them. Money. It costs money to go do all these home checks. But you can do like virtual home checks now. You can FaceTime with people. It does help, but there's no guarantee that what you are seeing is genuine. Okay. We have had people try to lie and say about where they live, and it's not really their house. Oh, yeah. So if you're going to do that, you may want to like verify that they own that house or talk to a landlord to make sure that that's where they really live. You need to verify that what you are seeing is really what they're telling you. I had a woman fill out an application, and when we did a Google Earth on the address, it was a dirt field. She didn't think we were going to check. Like, what? A dirt field in the middle of Texas. Yeah, yeah. Um, so you can do it that way. Now, again, I should make notes because this is a whole nother episode. When there are existing animals in the home, depending on the breed you're rescuing, I would have to say, but we get a lot of flack for this. Why don't you adopt out to people with cats? That's what we get that a lot. Why don't we adopt out to people with cats? So I think I'm going to write this down, a whole episode to cats and little dogs. Because I got a lot to talk about that on that one. Little dogs, here we go. Okay. But again, your dog should be healthy before you send it out. That's number one. Okay. Your dog should have a good temperament before you adopt it out to the best of your ability. Okay. If you're just pulling dogs out of an animal shelter and giving it a bath and sending it off to its new home the next day, you're just basically a doggy broker because you're not putting any time into the dog. So that's my opinion on that. So medical, temperament test, adoption contract, and some way to verify where your dog is going. Those are the top things to get started with on the adoption guidelines. Okay. So think on that for a minute, and we'll get on to, you know what, there is going to be a part 2 and maybe a part 3 and 4 on the adoption guidelines because I can go on and on forever. All right. Well, we will catch up with you on the next one where I will still be using a filter.